Tommy Pelletier. Please give the command, Tommy.
Tommy, start your engine.
The ground pounders come alive on the front straightaway here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. And ladies and gentlemen, we are set. Covering the action in the infield will, of course, be Barry Simon. And we are just about set to have this field rearrange itself up front, putting Jan Lady on the pole. Have been turned off around the half-mile speedway, indicating to the drivers, to the pit crews, and to the fans that we are about to get underway. We are about to write another chapter in the history of the Spring Sizzler here at the Stafford Motor Speedway on this Sunday, the 12th day in the month of April, 1992. Billy Leda looks the field over as they exit turn number 4. Jan Lady jumps on the throttle, and Raleigh Jacobs, we are underway.
Here, here. This is what we've been waiting for, and we're off to a flying start. Very smoothly into turn number 1. Very smoothly out of turn number 2. Mike Stefanik all over the back bumper of Tony Ferrandi, looking for an opening, and on the outside, Eddie Spires trying to work his way past S.J. Avancian, but on down low, it's Rick Fuller moving up 1 notch.
Down to the line and into turn 1, Jeff Fuller takes a move down low. He makes it pay off, and Jeff Fuller now becomes the second leader in the event, trying to bring Doug Hevron right along with him. Leedy closes the door on Hevron, however. They work single file through the third and fourth turn. It is Fuller, Leedy, Hevron, Tomeno, Worley, and McLaughlin in that order. Back through turns 2 and 3, a little bumper thumper with the 3 of Hevron and the 2 of Tomeno. Doug gets a bit sideways when he does. Tomeno takes full advantage, moves right up along outside. Can he make the move? The answer is no, as Hevron has a slight advantage going into turn number 1.
Reggie Ruggiero has moved up 1 notch now, and Tom Baldwin will be on his back bumper as Eddie Spires starts to drop back through the pack in car number 10. Doug Hevron and Jamie Tomeno continue to duel it out for that number 3 spot.
Hevron down low, Tomeno up high. Jamie gets the Danny's Market machine inching ahead into turn number 3. Drops it down half a groove, and when he does, he closes the door on Hevron. So Tomeno is running very, very well here today, and he is now up into the 3rd spot. Meanwhile, Jeff Fuller with the Sunoco Ultra 94 machine begins to open it up, and it looks like he is in very, very good shape, running like he was 2 weeks ago at the Thompson Speedway, where he picked up a win on the tour. His first of the year, 6-time winner in 1991, looking to better that in 92. Meantime, some of the heavy hitters still trying to find running room to get to the front, and that includes the 15 of Mike Stefanik, the 44 of Rick Fuller, and of course the 21 of Mike McLaughlin. Satch Worley, who won the opener at Martinsville, running very, very well with the Bob Garbarino car number 4. And of course Doug Hevron, who won at Richmond. There goes Tomeno underneath Jan Lady. Can he make it work? The answer is no.
Back further in the pack, Rick Fuller has moved into the number 9 position, and now he's being heavily pressured by Reggie Ruggiero. Tom Baldwin trying to close in on that group. Tom Bowles now overtakes S.J. Avancian.
And Jamie the Jet is on a roll. He now looks to the rear bumper of Jeff Fuller, as Tomeno has moved all the way up Bramick Tiles Chevrolet of Bob Park out of East Northport, Long Island. Park is able to refire the car and get back.
Jack away and move. 19 seconds. It's not bad going, but I think...
Great time for Bob Park. Thank you, Barry. We are just about ready to get underway once again. Here they come off the turn. Throttles are down. Green flag is out. Jeff Fuller once again jumps out front. Jamie Tomeno glued right to his rear bumper, and Hevron and Leedy are side by side. Down on the inside, Jan Leedy, car number 27, has a slight advantage off of 2, but here comes McLaughlin. almost 3 wide for a moment as Mike McLaughlin takes the Coors Extra Gold Art Barry car number 21 way up to the top of the racetrack, and he now pulls right up alongside of Doug Hebron. McLaughlin, former modified champ. Here comes the 2 of Tomeno. He took a peek to the outside of Fuller, and this rally could be a real barn burner before it's over.
We have our first casualty of the event. Bruce D'Alessandro out in the number 41.
And Tommy Bowles is in the pit area with car number 1. Looks like a right rear to be replaced on that car. Tough break for Tom, as he will now go down at least 1 circuit of the half mile. Off the turn, back across the stripe. The 8 of Jeff Fuller, the 2 of Tomeno, the 27 of Leedy, the 3 of McLaughlin. Now the 15 of Stefanik has moved into challenge. The 4 of Satch Worley, and Rick Fuller, Reggie Ruggiero, and Tom Baldwin. They are all stacked right up in there, and any one of those cars very, very capable of taking down the win here today. Tomeno with a peek to the inside. No room that time. He tucks back in. Ed Flemke goes around coming off of turn 4. The Hummel Brothers sponsored car number 11 comes to rest. Flemke will go down 1 circuit. Tough break for Eddie, who did so well at Richmond just last week. Top 5 finish for Ed, and that will probably not be the case today, as it is taking him a long time to get back up to speed with that machine.
Tommy Bowles coming across the line as unofficially 1 lap down as a result of a tire change.
The driver that started deep in the pack, started 21st rally, is the 77 of Steve Park, and Chris Hopkins just said Steve Park is really on the move, and he is indeed on the move. The 77 right directly behind the Charlie Pasteryak car. When he gets in there, he will round out the list of heavy hitters, all right at the front of the pack. Jeff Fuller, Jamie Tomeno running 1-2, beginning to pull away ever so slightly from Jan Leedy and Doug Hebron. The 15 of Stefanik, the 21 of McLaughlin. 20 laps posted on the Winston Racing Series scoreboard. Of Tomeno. Then we have Leedy still holding on for position number 3. Doug Hebron. A great run for Lenny Bowler this afternoon in car number 3. The 15 of Mike Stefanik, the Auto Palace sponsored race car, runs next on the grid. Followed by the 21 of McLaughlin, Rick Fuller, and the Reggie Ruggiero just put away the 4 of Worley, as Reggie seems to be headed to the front with the Bellray Oil TJ Toyota sponsor car. Baldwin, 27 of 200, up on the Winston Racing Series scoreboard. Drivers now seemingly content to settle in and to run the half mile until we get to the final stages of the event. Tomeno just took a little quick peek to the inside. He did not attempt to pass Fuller, but certainly let him know that he is right there knocking at the door. Fuller not driving what you would consider an ultra-conservative group.
A good battle going on between Reggie Ruggiero and Mike McLaughlin, as now Ruggiero overtakes Mighty Mike.
Rick Fuller is breathing right down the header pipes of Mike Stefanik as well, as those 2 heavy hitters continue to head towards the front.
And here comes Steve Park again, attempting to move alongside Charlie Pasteryak. The wheels touch as they head into turn 1. And here comes Park blasting out of turn 2.
He makes the move. Roger Hill has slowed considerably with car number 00. It'll be a long ride back to Westfield, North Carolina tonight, as Roger pulls the car back behind pit wall. Apparently he is out of it. 31 up on the Winston Racing Series scoreboard, and the 21 of McLaughlin. Then it is Satch Worley in the 4. The 7 of Tom Baldwin, the 77 of Steve Park, the 16 of Wayne Anderson, the 75 of Carl Pasteryak, the 5 of Charlie Pasteryak. Then we go back to the 72 of Johnny Preston. Keep in mind that the 19 of Bob Park is down at least 1, maybe 2 laps as a result of a flat tire that he had to change at the green. tick away. And at this stage of the game, Raleigh, the drivers are apparently very content to ride this out and get through about the first 125, 130 laps before they begin to again riding down through the infield. Or is that Brad Hightower? That is the Brad Hightower car number 54, not the 74. Billy Leda is keeping an eye on that to see if, in fact, that car moves. Yellow flag comes out just as Brad refires the car. So the driver out of nearby Enfield,
Lap 30, and I put a stopwatch on Jeff Fuller just now, the leader, and he was lapping in 19.4 seconds.
Let's see if he can do it again. Thank you, Barry, as the green flag is back out. Jeff Fuller takes the field back to turn 1.
And look at Rick Fuller now, about a challenge on the outside for that number 4 spot, held by Jan Leedy. Reggie Ruggiero right behind Rick Fuller. Mike Stefanik down low, trying to hold his spot.
Fuller got almost hit right up against the wall as the Reg is right there as well. Some heavy hitters doing serious, close combat around the half mile here. And Fuller is letting it all hang out with the number 44. Off of turn 4, back down the front chute. Fuller and Stefanik side by side. Mike grabs the advantage, takes over the spot. Jeff Fuller leads. Jamie Tomeno is second, but look at Hebron come up and tap the rear bumper of Tomeno. A lot of action out here on the half mile.
Contact between Ed Flemke and Dan Avery in turn 4. Avery is okay. He's starting to move back onto the grid. And Flemke doing likewise. He'll have to move in a hurry, however, to avoid that caution. And Flemke will lose more laps.
Down another circuit for the Southington, Connecticut driver. Been a tough afternoon. The yellow flag comes out once again for Ed Clemens with commentary on the Tom Baldwin pit stop. Pace car will dive in, and we are ready to go one more time. Fuller and Tomeno, dancing partners once again, and Jeff says, it's okay as long as I lead. And lead he does, back to turn number 1. Hebron and Leedy running side by side, and the Reg gets out of shape down the back straightaway. Wayne Anderson down through the infield, and the 4 of Satch Worley is in trouble as well. It looks as though the front end of the Bob Garbarino, car number 4, has one wheel headed north, the other south, and Worley will not claim his second win of the season here today. Meanwhile, back up front, Jeff Fuller opens up about a 3-car length advantage over the 2 of Tomeno. Hebron runs next, followed by the 15 of Stefanik, the 44 of Rick Fuller. Jan Leedy back now behind Fuller, and then it is McLaughlin, Steve Park, Carl Pastriak in that order. Passing flag given to Satch Worley.
Worley staying out there, apparently hoping for a caution somewhere along here very quickly.
Fuller continues to be the man to beat here this afternoon. Jamie Tomeno runs next, followed by Doug Hebron, Mike Stefanik, Rick Fuller, Jan Leedy, and Mike McLaughlin. Then it's the 77 of Steve Park and the Reg. Reggie Ruggiero looks to the outside of Steve as they go through turns 1 and 2. Park is able to hold him off, but Reggie will not take no for an answer. He pulls right up alongside through turns 3 and 4. Reggie handling very, very well with that automobile here this afternoon. Satch Worley now is into the pit area with car number 4 as the Mystic River Marina crew will go to work on that machine and try to get their driver back out to compete for those valuable modified tour points.
The next battle will be between Tomato and Hebron as they now dice it up out of turn 2. Here comes Hebron on the outside. Stefanik will be right there looking for any kind of an opening that presents itself. Once again, Hebron trying to get to the outside, unable to quite muster it up as they go into the first turn. McLaughlin, meanwhile, starting to work on Jan Leedy. Hebron looked to the inside that time. Tomato shut the door quickly.
Tom Baldwin having a tough time getting back through the pack with car number 7. It's a long way to go. He is almost a half lap off the pace after that pit stop. May have been a 12-second tire change, according to Barry Simons, but it has not apparently solved whatever problem. Up on the outside, Jamie Tomato, down low, Mike Stefanik, Rick Hyde. Hebron wants to put Tomato away and can't do it. And yet he certainly is giving it the old college try. The 4 of Satch Worley back out onto the racetrack. Tomato, Hebron, Stefanik, and Fuller continue to do wheel-to-wheel, bumper-to-bumper battle around this half mile. Everybody just glued to that 4-way race. Doug Hebron doing a tremendous job with the Lenny Bowler car number 3. It was Bowler's car that won the very first Spring Sizzler. The late Fred DeSaro at the controls. It was a coupe-bodied car. And the same car owner still out here fielding extremely competitive race cars. In fact, winning the show just last week.
Jeff Fuller is about to put a few more cars, some more laps down, so Mr. Fuller is just dominant at this point in the event. Is there anybody in that pack who can close the gap if they can break around Tomato and Hebron?
When Jeff Fuller has all the ducks in a row, and that is most of the time, they field one of the most potent modifieds on the entire circuit. Patty Bonzo, the owner, and of course Brad LaFontaine, the crew chief. They have managed to put together an extremely potent team, in addition to a Winston Cup effort, which they plan to run another 3 or 4 times this season. Tomato and Hebron running 2-3. Then it is Stefanik, Rick Fuller, Mike McLaughlin, Jan Leedy, Reggie Ruggiero, the 77 of Park, the 75 of Pastriak, the 16 of Anderson. Then we believe the next car in line would be the 10 of Eddie Spires. A little bit loose when he does. Stefanik now pulls right alongside. S. Dave Onson drops way down low with the 35. He appears to be in trouble mechanically with that race car. We'll see if we can get a report from Tony Sutton on what the situation is with local veteran S.J. Evanson.
Bumper to bumper now between Tomato and Hebron. Hebron working all over him now. Back he goes to the outside. Doug just can't get around that Mr. Tomato. A splendid driving job by Jamie.
It's incredible that Hebron has been able to run it. And we'll see if the veteran car owner decides to bring his driver in at some point during the running of this event, or if he intends to keep him out there for 200 laps. Hebron now actually inches ahead of Tomeno at the line that time, and he's got him. Persistence wins, and Doug Hebron just drove the daylights out of that race car and got around the two of Jamie Tomeno. So it stands this way. The 8 of Jeff Fuller, nearly a half lap ahead, and here comes Stefanik down underneath. Mike Stefanik puts Tomeno away. So does Rick Fuller. And here comes the 21 of Mike McLaughlin. So Tomeno begins to fade with the U2. And that is to the advantage of drivers like Hebron, Stefanik, and Rick Fuller. 77 complete.
Now McLaughlin overtakes Tomeno. And next it will be Reggie's turn to try.
If Reggie should end up with a very good finish here today, somewhere around $4,800, that will put him over the $500,000 mark in winnings.
Very impressive. Wayne Anderson now sliding under Carl Patton.
With that Sunoco-sponsored car number 8. 80 of 200 in the books. As the modifieds continue to rumble around the half mile. 21st running of the sprint. Fuller puts another lap on the 70 of Avery. Up and around the 73 of Jerry Marquis.
Hebron has closed in about 6 car lengths in the last 2 laps, but of course Fuller's been fighting his way through traffic. Hebron's got a wide open track in front of him.
Who continues to lead this event. Jan Leedy led for the first lap. Jeff Fuller put car number 8 into the command spot on the second circuit. And now as we find ourselves at the halfway point, Jeff Fuller has not given up 1 inch of real estate. So it is Fuller in the lead at the halfway point, followed by the 3 of Hebron, the 15 of Stefanik, the 44 of Rick Fuller, the 21 of Mike McLaughlin, the 69 of the Reg. Then we believe that it is Jamie Tomeno in the U2, the 75 of Pasteryak, and the 16 of Anderson. That, of course, is unofficial. Flip sliding away out on the half mile as the tires are now beginning to get down to the point where they don't grip the racetrack the way that they did when they were brand new. Becoming rather obvious as you watch the drivers take a little different approach to the turns and find it a little bit slipperier coming out of the turns.
Tommy Bowles once again back into the pits in car number 1. And they're going to work on tires. A new right side set for Tommy Bowles.
.112 laps up on the Winston Racing Series scoreboard. Fuller now gets by the 77 of Steve Park, puts Jan Leedy down yet another circuit, as Jeff Fuller is just absolutely making shambles of this field here this afternoon. Double check with, and he could have a, and Stefanik slows on the front straightaway.
Looked like it might have just hopped out of gear on him somehow.
It appears as though something like that happened because he slowed right down to almost nothing and then picked up the pace again.
Well, that puts Rick Fuller, McLaughlin, and Ruggiero now behind Doug Hebron.
And Chris Amon as well, the 74. Becoming a very obvious situation. You really have to wonder how much longer many of these competitors will be able to go without coming in for a tire change. Jeff Fuller, Doug Hebron, running 1-2. Then it is Rick Fuller in the 44. Mike McLaughlin in the 21. In the 5th spot is the Reg with the 69, followed by Chris Amon and Mike Stefanik. Then we believe it is the 16 of Anderson and the 75 of Pastriak.
Okay, there we have it. That looks good. Unofficial, of course. 120 laps now complete. 80 to go as Jeff Fuller continues to really pour it on. Hebron unable. In fact, Hebron is now falling back further. And it's Fuller increasing his lead by about another 10 car lengths in the last few laps.
One thing about Jeff is the car certainly is cooperating with him. We have yet to see him fight that race car. He's taking a little different approach coming out of the turns than he had earlier in the race, but he is still very, very smooth with the race car. He is not fighting it, and in fact is taking very good care of it out there.
Well, you certainly think that Doug Hebron must be suffering from tire wear at this point after all the early dueling he had with Jan Leedy. That must have taken its toll on the tires on the number 3. Rick Fuller, rather past Rick Fuller and behind Doug Hebron.
Now we have double-checked that one too, Raleigh, with scoring, and they say that Chris Amon is very much in the lead lap, and that he is now behind Doug Hebron. So he is running 3rd on the grid. 4th is the 44 of Rick Fuller. 5th is the 15 of Mike Stefanik. 6th is the 21. Scoreboard, 70 laps remain, and you talk about a scoring nightmare.
Well, it's interesting to see what a fresher set of tires is doing for Tommy Bowles. The rest of the field not doing very much, but Tommy's been doing quite a bit of passing in the last several laps.
You can see him work the outside of McLaughlin. Anderson. Probably Chris Hopkins just made the observation that Doug Hebron appears to be losing considerable ground. We've got a spin as Eddie Spires goes around in car number 10. This is what everybody has waited for. Look at the act, so you guys are ready to go to work. They're headed down pit road. Here comes the leader, Jeff Fuller, in car number 8. He's headed right directly towards you.
Okay, we've got our eyes on ready for him.
Fuller is in, Hebron is in, Rick Fuller, Tom Baldwin, the Reg. Brand new leader will be car number 74, Chris Amon. Green flag is back out. Now, we believe that Tom Baldwin is down at least 1 lap. And that he is.
However, Rick Fuller has moved up a notch as he surged past Anderson in the first turn.
So it is Chris Amon, car number 74. Jamie Tomeno trying desperately to get back a lap, as is the 7 of Baldwin. Running in that second spot is the 44 of Rick Fuller. Now, taking a gander back through the pack, it would appear that Jeff Fuller is now 3rd, Mike Stefanik is 4th, Wayne Anderson is 5th, Doug Hebron is 6th, 7th is the 21 of McLaughlin.
And Jamie Tomato unofficially has his lap back now. And so Tomato is back on the lead lap in car U2.
Long way to go for Jamie the Jet. As long as we run under green. He is just ahead of the leader. The blue Ford-powered number 74 for Chris Amon. Out in front. Here comes Rick Fuller. Looks to the high side of Baldwin. Rick Fuller, brother Jeff, and Mike Stefanik. Stefanik right to the bottom of the racetrack. Tries to make a move underneath Jeff Fuller. Will it pay off as they head down the back straightaway? Fuller is able to motor ahead just a bit. He looks to the outside of Baldwin. Stefanik tries to make a move, but is held off by the Baldwin car, and Stefanik has to drop in behind Fuller. Jeff Fuller now up to third within striking distance of brother Rick and Chris Amon. Rick looks to the inside of Amon. Off the turn back down to the line. Next time by, be into the final 50 circuits as Rick Fuller dives to the bottom, pulls up alongside, and then inches out into the lead, bringing brother Jeff right along with him. So it is the McBetts-powered number 44 in the lead for the first time this afternoon after having qualified through one of the heats to get into this feature event. Jeff Fuller runs next with the 8. Then it is Mike Stefanik, the 74 of Amon, the 3 of Hevron, the 16 of Anderson, the 21 of McLaughlin.
Just 49 laps remain now in the event as this turn of events certainly has juggled our field around. A tremendous finish, I think, is due us all. Rick, Jeff, and Mike, and Doug Hevron now starting to move up with our 3 front runners.
Both Jeff Fuller and Mike Stefanik have won this event. Rick Fuller has never won this event. His best finish came in 1990 when he finished in the 4th position, just ahead of Reggie Ruggiero and behind George Kent. Stefanik has won the race twice. Jeff Fuller has won it once. And Rick Fuller looks to make this his first ever Spring Sizzler. Rick, of course, knows as they head down the back straightaway, Fuller could very easily put Tomato in arrears once again. Passing flag is shown to the Jets. Question is, will Rick Fuller force the issue, or will he be content to ride behind Jamie? Jeff Fuller, certainly with his hands full now. Mike Stefanik is right there knocking at the door. And brother Rick is beginning to open things up a little bit. Both Stefanik, there goes Mike. He takes a look down low. Can't quite make it work. But both Stefanik and Rick Fuller looking for their first wins of the season from this time by. Stefanik again posting a challenge to Jeff Fuller off of turn 2. Cannot make it work. Rick Fuller, Jeff Fuller, Mike Stefanik. Running 1, 2, 3. Then it is Doug Hevron in car number 3. Then back to the 21 of Mike McLaughlin, the 16 of Wayne Anderson. This time by Raleigh, it turns into what boils down to a basic Saturday night 30-lap shootout.
Here we go. Let's see what develops now. Certainly Rick is still looking very strong. However, Jeff has closed the gap somewhat. And Stefanik hanging right with Jeff Fuller.
No two ways about that. Not a good day for the Reg. But a tremendous day thus far for Rick Fuller. Behind Bush. Can they make it work? He becomes the meat in the sandwich and hangs in there. Incredible drive by Mike Stefanik. That pops Jeff Fuller back one spot. Stefanik's up to 2. And now he will try to chase down Rick Fuller. This can do only one thing, work to the advantage of Mike Stefanik if they hold up Rick in any way, shape, or fashion. But it appears as though the traffic is breaking just about right. Jamie Tomato, of course, can run interference for Rick and can park the sea, if you will, as they work their way through turns 1 and 2. And Tomato does exactly that. He handles the interference, and Fuller just follows him through. No such luck for Mike Stefanik. There's no question about that.
Stefanik just gave Pastriak a tap, ducked to the inside, and passed him. Now Jeff Fuller caught behind the 31 of Ferrante.
Meanwhile, while all this is going on, Raleigh, Rick's in second now, down to 3 seconds. And 10 laps to go. Can Mike Stefanik reel in that high-flying car number 44 of Rick Fuller in the remaining 9.5 circuits? Back across the line, 191. Stefanik trying desperately to close the gap. Works the high side of the racetrack. Gets up alongside Tom Bull. As Jeff Fuller begins to fade a little bit, this time with car number 8. Up to only 2 seconds. As Stefanik desperately tries to reel in the rear bumper of Fuller. It's down to about a car length now. Off the turn, here comes Stefanik, a white flag lap. Can he post a challenge in the next half mile? That's the question. And the answer appears to be no as Fuller stretches it out. We're headed for home, and here they come. It is car number 44, Rick Fuller, in for the win, followed by Stefanik, Jeff Fuller, the 3 of Hebron, and we believe the 75 of Pastriak. That, of course, is unofficial. I'm in victory lane on a sizzler for owner Mario Fiore as the crew runs out to greet their winning driver. Mud and all, they don't care.
A real fine win today.
Yeah, we decided on Wednesday to run this car. Rick painted the frame on Tuesday night, and all it was a bare frame. And we were planning on bringing it out at Loudon originally. And the last-minute decision, we said, let's get this car ready, save the other car for Riverside, and it ran great.
How about that? Congratulations, Mario. Now let's see what the man has to say here. There he is.
Hey, pal.
The winner. And for Rick, win number 1 here in the Spring Sizzler. And here in the early going of the Modified Tour, you got to be doubly happy about that, what has turned out.
Well, we're real excited. We went down to Richmond, and we've all voted, and we think Dougie's got the homeliest car out there, and he won. So we figured if we came with this bomb, that we'd lap the field. So.
Well, you were certainly busy doing a lot of painting. 6 wins now on the Modified Tour. A 31-year-old driver who has really shown the folks how. It was the Fuller day pretty much all the way. Jeff setting a real fine pace in the early going. And of course, then when you took over, it was great going, and until Mike started to close down on you a little bit. I'm sure you're pleased that you didn't have to go maybe a few more laps.
Well, it's true. Michael was running pretty good at the end there. We were holding on before that first caution. Like you said, Jeff dominated the field, and we were just waiting to bolt on the good stuff and try and go the distance. You know, the Mario Fiorione 44 ran great. I want to thank Goodyear Tire VP, David Moore, Performance Transmission, McBeth's Racing Engines, because they gave us the power to pull away from the field that way.
Well, psychologically, this is a big boost for you too, Rick, as you face the rest of the season. Any particular thoughts you have in mind now as you head for the next show in 2 weeks at Martinsville?
Well, yeah, I especially want to thank the guys. Mario gave him, a challenge. This car was sitting with that bare, ugly green frame on Wednesday afternoon, and he said, I want to race that car Saturday, and they got it all together. They did a super job. They worked, till 4 or 5 in the morning every morning. They just did a great job for me, and I get to stand up here and get all the laurels.
Well, you're going to get one right now. Here's number 2 man, Mike Stefanik. Hey, another great run, Mike. A few more laps, who knows?
Yeah, well, Rick ran a good race, lap traffic, he had problems with it, I had problems with it. I don't know, they don't look in the mirror, man, I tell you, it's bad. But we had a good race, finally got a decent finish. I'm really happy for Auto Palace, H&H Racing Gasoline. Thank you.
Well, congratulations on another strong run, Mike, and I'm sure that sets you up for what's to come. A long, long season yet to go, 18 races left, so a lot will be happening, I'm sure, along the way. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the winner of the 1992 Spring Sizzler. Oh, here he is. Oh, here's Jeff. I didn't see you sneak in behind me. The short one, says Brother Rick. Jeff, that was an outstanding run at the beginning of the race. That car was just running outstanding. And then, of course, that pit stop came along, and that changed things around.
Yeah, we chose to go with some tires that we scuffed in yesterday, and that was definitely the wrong choice. We should have probably thrown some stickers at it because the car was just so dominant at the beginning part of the race. I was just out there cruising around, waiting for a caution, and when we ever pitted there and put them tires on, the car changed from like night to day. So you live and learn in this business, and we'll just mark that down in the notebook, and next time we come back, we'll be that much stronger.
Well, no doubt about it. Your career is really rising rapidly. Let's hear it.